Hello, I'm Joel Bloom, president of the New Jersey Institute of Technology. We pride ourselves on being part of the Newark community and its advancements in technology, innovation, and the growth of the city. That's why we are proud to partner with the CAUCUS Educational Corporation to produce One-on-One with Steve Adubato right here at NJIT. We hope you enjoy this special series.
Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, the New Jersey Education Association, RWJ Barnabas Health, the Northward Center, the law firm of GIBBONS PC, TD Bank, and by Verizon. Promotional support provided by Observer New Jersey Politics and by Commerce Magazine.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No. People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
Hi, Steve Adubato. We're coming to you from the campus of the New Jersey Institute of Technology. We are pleased to welcome Bruce Chadwick, who is the author of Law and Disorder, The Chaotic Birth of the NYPD. How you doing, Bruce?
I'm doing good.
I am fascinated, and other people are going to be fascinated very quickly about this. So here's the deal. NYPD, New York Police Department, City Police Department, began in 1845.
Right.
You study it up until what period of time?
1859.
Why is that such a fascinating period?
It's a fascinating period for two reasons. One is, it's stunning to me, from the founding of the country in 1789 through the 1840s, there were no professional police.
None?
None. We had bungling, stumbling, corrupt constables, most of whom were never armed, trying to preserve law and order, doing a very bad job of it. So to bring in the professional police in 1845, and those problems did not go away. You still had a really tough guy, brutal police force riddled with corruption. At the same time, New York City is becoming this great, fabulous city in the world, and the foundation possibly killed by the crime.
Let me ask you, crime remained high, even with these professionals, and issues including police brutality, corruption, what else, was the case back in the mid-1800s, and some of that still exists today.
Some of it does still exist today. I must say, though, corruption in contemporary times, the percentage of policemen who are involved in corruption in New York, Newark, Philadelphia, anywhere, is quite small.
Dramatically different from what was?
Yes.
Why was it
smaller.
Open? I don't want to say the Wild West.
It was the Wild West. It was the Wild West.
Was it really?
It was. When I did this book, I said I should compare the crime statistics in New York City to the Wild West.
Well, what was going on?
The statistics in Tombstone, Dodge, New York City's crime rate was 6 times as high.
What?
Yeah.
What was going on? What kind
Only
of
about
crimes?
1,100 police to patrol a city of close to 1 million people, in 3 shifts spread over all those areas. Very small. Guns for the first time. Burglary rings, murders.
Gangs.
A lot of crimes that the police could not stop. And when the police were ordered to get tough, and they carry these 14-inch billy sticks they just whack people with, ask questions later.
Right.
The public completely approved of this.
What do you mean approved of it?
Completely approved.
Of police brutality?
Of police brutality.
Why?
Do whatever you need to do to make me safe.
That was the thinking?
That was the thinking.
So
and
the
it lasted
relation
for a long time.
So the whole idea of community policing and the relationship between the police and the community, they were like, you're saying no. Most people were saying, look, protect me, reduce crime, we'll be fine.
That's right.
However you do it, it's not my problem.
Exactly.
I
It's
don't care about it.
necessary force. Yeah. And then the captains in the police department, they're very careful about this. They never told the cops to do that. They just said, do what you feel is necessary, as did the chief of police, as did the mayor. And everybody covered up for them.
Hold on, you talk about one of the mayors.
Fernando Wood.
Fernando Wood.
Fabulous Fernando Wood.
Now, Fernando Wood was the mayor in the 1850s for a period of time, and again in the 1860s. That we're looking at a sketch of Fernando Wood. Why does he matter in all this?
He matters because he was New York City's first 3-time mayor. Nobody had ever even been a 2-time mayor. So he established a lot of power. There was a political organization called Tammany Hall.
Oh, Tammany Hall.
Corrupt to the core. He ran Tammany Hall at the same time he was the mayor. He controlled everything. And what all the police had to do once a year was go to his office and just give him envelopes full of money as payola to keep their jobs.
Tammany Hall. Was that where George Washington Plunkett was?
I don't know.
There's a character, never mind, it's another story. Jen Eichlin, let's do something on Tammany Hall. I'm fascinated because they were so corrupt.
Oh, they were.
They ran the political system in New York for so long. By the way, why do you look at New York City's police department, and what does that have to do with the rest of the nation?
It doesn't, it's connected to the rest of the nation, is that it was the foundation.
Was it the blueprint?
It was the blueprint for what all the other police departments
Why?
did. Because they took the attitude, it's the biggest city. If they're doing it, it must be right. Well, it wasn't, it was wrong. And they did it wrong, too.
But weren't there some positive aspects of the NYPD?
There were, in the sense that after a couple of decades, and it grew bigger, and civil service came in, and the police academy was started, the
When was
NYPD
that?
became a lot better. The academy was started in the 1890s.
Why did that matter?
It mattered because with the civil service exam, you weren't appointed to your job.
So it wasn't as political?
That's right.
So Tammany Hall, this political power base of operation, they didn't control all the hiring of cops.
Not later, but they did during the 1840s and 50s.
No, but and when civil service came in.
That's right, they
so
did
that was a
not.
positive thing.
Very
but you said
positive.
there were spikes in crime at certain points in time. Could you talk about that?
Well, the crime by the 1880 or so goes down. It's cut in half. And then it stays half for a long time. And in 1920, at the start of the Roaring '20s, just after the war, it spikes. It
What
really
happened
jumps.
in the 20s?
Well, you had the mob, for one thing, prohibition, bootleggers, gangsters fighting each other. You had a vast shift of African-American population, millions of people moving north and arriving at the same time in New York City primarily. You had millions of immigrants still coming over. So many immigrants that the government closed immigration in 1922.
They closed it.
Right.
Wow, it's so fascinating as we talk about immigration policy
yes,
today.
problems today.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the Great Depression. When that started, you had desperate men who will do anything to get money to buy food and housing for their family. So all these things together cause a spike in the crime wave. This is despite real efforts by the NYPD with like a police air force in 1922.
An air force?
I never knew they had an air force. And they did. I don't know who they bombed, but it didn't work.
You know, there was a riot was it 1849 Astor
Yes,
Place?
right. The Astor
riot.
Place riot.
What
Yeah.
was it about, A, and B, how did the law enforcement professionals deal with it?
Well, it's a crazy thing. A group of people did not like an actor in a play.
What?
That's right. And
That's what caused the riot?
That caused the riot. They all started hooting him.
In Astor Place?
And at the Astor Place, in the theater there.
In the theater?
In the
Did
theater.
it spill out into the streets?
Spilled out into the streets, yelling and screaming about the actor. Then the cops arrive, and the cops can't do anything. The crowd is now 2,000 to 3,000 people because the neighborhood's flooded the place. They call up the militia, the state militia.
Right.
State militia are bad guys. They fire into the crowd.
No.
And they killed like 20 people.
Just right
So
into the crowd,
right into the
indiscriminately?
crowd. Yeah, several volleys. It was awful.
Did the federal government come in and investigate?
No.
No?
Oh, yeah. The federal, there were investigations of it that went nowhere.
Nowhere.
The public, the crowd was ordered to disperse several times.
Yeah.
They were ordered to halt, they were ordered to go home. They didn't do it.
Last question. In this book, there are different players that are talked about. One of them is Walt Whitman.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, what is it?
my hero.
But what does Walt Whitman have to do with NYPD?
Walt Whitman was a crime reporter. That's where he started his
Before
great
he became
illustrious
Walt Whitman?
literary career. Yeah, it was Walt Whitman with lowercase w's.
Wow.
He was a crime reporter, and then became an editor of a newspaper that did a lot of crime stories and wrote beautiful things about New York City and savage criticism of crime and the police. He was a real hero in his day. He was.
This is a fascinating book. Law and Disorder. By the way, where'd the title come from?
The television show.
Oh,
The
but
contemporary
you said Law and
television
Disorder.
show. Yeah, we just changed it to Disorder.
You're fascinated by crime, are you not?
I am.
By the way, you teach?
I teach at New Jersey City University. I teach history there. I do a course on the history of homicide.
Law and Disorder, The Chaotic Birth of the NYPD by Bruce Chadwick. Who's your publisher?
The publisher is Thomas Dunn Books.
You gotta make sure you get that out.
Right.
Bruce, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fascinating stuff. Go out and check the book out. Be right back from NJIT right after this. That was great.
To watch more one-on-one with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
We are pleased to welcome two very special guests. First, Mr. Bradley Ferguson, who is Prudential Spirit of Community National Honoree, and Mayor Erland Chau, who is the mayor of Northfield, New Jersey. Good to have you both with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This Prudential Award, the Spirit of Community, is such an important award. We've worked a long time with Prudential, the Prudential Foundation. Tell folks about the organization that you are a part of. You started, it's called Post Crashers Helping Veterans, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
So there's a post right near my house, post 295. And after like the tragedy I saw of Charles Ingram III near the VA,
Right.
who doused himself in
That's right.
gasoline and lit himself on fire, I wanted to help the veterans out because they were coming home from war and they weren't getting any recognition, and I felt that was completely wrong and they should be getting a lot more.
So you decided to do this?
Yes. I
Who
decided.
motivated you? Other than that instance, I heard your dad was somehow connected to this.
Yeah, my sister and my parents, they helped my sister with helping hungry people in our county, and she started helping 100, so it kind of runs in my family a little bit for volunteering.
Now the veterans, before I come to you, Mayor, the veterans who find out about this, how do you help them?
So we had a advocacy dinner for Thanksgiving, and this was probably the biggest meeting of all veterans, and people from On Front in Atlantic City and the homeless shelter in Atlantic City, and also the people in the American Legion 295 were invited to this Thanksgiving dinner, and that was the biggest meeting with all the veterans together.
They got together.
That helped. Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to make a difference for them.
Yes.
And you get acknowledged by the Prudential Spirit of Community. You're one of the national honorees.
Yes, one of the 10.
How do you know this young guy?
Well, Steve, as I told you earlier, Brad and I go with the same high school, McMillan Regional High School. But let me clarify, he's a student and I'm a teacher. So I've known him throughout his career at Mainland Regional High School in Linwood for the past 2 years, and I know his family very well. And through those years, I've seen the terrific deeds and accomplishments that he has done, not only for our city, but for Atlantic County in New Jersey. Someone of his age, an inspiration to honor our veterans.
You're 16.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Go ahead.
To honor our veterans, to deal with their honorees as well as their problems and concerns. As you know, he has to date over 4,500 lunches and meals have been made by he and his organization for our veterans, for our homeless veterans. Outstanding accomplishment.
And how do you get them to them?
I deliver them to the by car. I just drive over to the homeless shelter in Atlantic City with the bags, and
Who helps you?
my dad drives them with me.
Looking at some pictures here. So let me ask you a question as we're looking at this, Mayor. What happens when Bradley does this and people know about it in your community? To what extent does it inspire others to try to make a difference?
Well, I have made every effort to communicate not only to our community through the various media, through our newspapers, to showcase his accomplishments. Just most recently, we honored him as our Citizen of the Year.
In the town?
In our town, during the 4th of July parade. This is the youngest one that we've ever had. But it's also an inspiration to show that an individual of his age can do so much for our veterans and for the community and all the individuals that are homeless.
Now, Bradley, you were selected from a field of more than 31,000 youth volunteers from across the country. And you get a gold medal. Let's take a look at it. We get that team. A gold medal, gold medallion, a crystal trophy for the school, and a $5,000 grant from the Prudential Foundation. You didn't do this to be recognized, but what does it mean to be recognized?
Well, when I found out I won the state honoree, which you get a silver medallion and a $1,000, I was completely shocked because to get that award is very low. Like, you probably have a better chance of winning the lottery or something. And my mom said I had a better chance of seeing God than getting it. So we weren't very confident, but when I got the letter that said I was invited to go down to Washington, D.C., I was completely shocked.
Is that where you met Michael Phelps?
Yeah, on I was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
What was it like meeting him? He has a few gold medals too, but go ahead.
Yeah, just
what was
a
it
few.
Like? You're different, but
Yeah.
sometimes, I don't know, somehow I think yours is just a little more valuable right now. What was it like meeting him?
Well, I was very nervous to meet Michael Phelps because I am like very fond of him. He's a very cool person and good at what he does and very dedicated, which helped
Like
me.
you?
Yeah, it really helped me to stay dedicated. And he gave us a story that usually Olympic swimmers are trained 6 days a week, but he wanted to train 7 because the one day you miss, it takes 2 days to get back to where you were. So his whole story really motivated myself and probably everybody else in the
To work
room.
harder. Mm-hmm. When can we vote for him for president?
Oh, I'm all ready to put his name up.
So right now, as people are watching, you know, there's some people who are, first of all, asking, hey, what's up with my kid? But the other thing is, there may be some people, Mayor, that actually decide they want to do something, particularly for our veterans, no?
No question or doubt about it. And I look upon this as one of our future leaders who's going to do something for our country.
I don't know if it's future. I think he's doing it right now.
Well, I agree with you.
So, Bradley, on behalf of all of us in public broadcasting, thank you.
Thank
for
you.
being a leader. Okay, you're a fine young man with a bright future who keeps making a difference for other people, particularly the veterans who need it. Thank you for what you do. Okay, well done. Prudential made a good choice. We'll be right back right after this. Thanks.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
That is powerful stuff. Anthony McMillan, CEO, Newark Downtown District. What were you looking at?
I was looking at the first beautification of our entryway project. It's one of many that we hope to do that will include communities and for us, for the NDD, the Newark Downtown District, it takes us out of downtown and into
What's your
neighborhoods.
role? I mean, for those who don't know what the Newark Downtown District is, what's your role?
So I am the CEO. I've been with the organization now for about 14 years. We're growing.
What's the role of the organization?
So we are a not-for-profit, 501c3. Our formal mission is to revitalize the Central Business District. What that means is to increase property value, and for us, we have a very dynamic board, so it gives us a lot of latitude. We can come up with public art projects.
Why does public art matter like that? I mean, I've seen that it's McCarter Highway, otherwise known as Route 21 for some people. Why is that so important for people to see beautiful art coming in to the city that we're both born and raised
absolutely, in? Absolutely. So this is it changes people's perception. If you beautify an area, it gives the impression that you're in an area that people care for. And it's almost like the broken window theory. I'll treat it with a certain amount of respect because obviously someone cares about this area. So, yeah, this is tantamount to sweeping streets every day, but it's art, and it's public art is very important in urban areas. I think everywhere.
Are more and more people, and if so, who are they, looking to live in downtown Newark?
Yeah. So I wish I could do what Don Katz has done at Audible with offering folks a subsidy to live in Newark, but I don't think we need that anymore. I think Newark is on a rise, and I think we have a lot of young.
Who's the market?
I would say millennials. I would say millennials are, suburbia. No one wants to live in suburbia. I think we've passed that time period. I shouldn't say no one. Younger people do not.
They want to live in cities.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because?
They don't want to own a car. They love public transportation. They love the bike. They love coffee shops. We can go on and on and on. But they like the ease of a city, the amenities of a city, which you normally do not get in suburbia.
Right.
And they love open spaces and in urban areas. Yeah. So
it's interesting to me. You were born and raised in the South Ward. There are 5 wards in the city of Newark. You were born in the South Ward. And I was born and raised in the North Ward. They're the 2 largest, if you will, most populated wards in this city. But Newark is often, I've often said that to people, and we are in the Central Ward as we do this program at NJIT. The point I'm making is that there are many Newarks, right? But the downtown district is unique in and of itself and is evolving dramatically. People say, oh, that's NJPAC. Oh, that's the Prudential Center, right? It's much more than that, right?
Absolutely.
What's happening?
Well, I see kids skateboarding in downtown.
No, you do not.
Yes, I do.
I see people playing chess in Military Park, but you're talking about.
I see skateboarders. When I was a kid in Newark, my brother and I would grab our football equipment and we would walk down West Kenny to Lincoln Park and play football there.
Know it well.
Right. So I think we're seeing that now. For a long period of time, folks in the neighborhoods felt as though the downtown was for transient folks.
That's right, in and out.
Right, in and out. And that's not the message we want to send. Newark we shouldn't be a city of silos, right? The Ironbound is part of Newark. The Central Business District is a part of Newark. It should all be one Newark. And I think that's what we're seeing, and not only just for Newarkers, we're also inviting folks that are not from Newark.
What do you mean?
Jersey City, Brooklynites. I mean, we're doing it carefully. I think so. I think.
Are we competing with them? Is the Newark downtown district competing with Jersey City, competing with Brooklyn, competing with whatever space is left in Hoboken, right? Is there intense competition for those younger, usually, people who would like to have an urban experience and live and work in an urban area?
So I heard the question, Steve. Now the South Ward in me is going to come out. So
I often call it the Newark in me. What do you call it?
And the better question is, are they competing with us? I don't think any city in this state has the bones that we have.
We have the edge?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would argue that with anyone. And I think we have been strategic for a long period of time in terms of how we are revitalizing Newark. I think it's been very intentional. And I think we wanted, because we have a ton of intelligent people in this city, I think we wanted to see what mistakes were made in other urban areas so we wouldn't mimic those mistakes.
Describe the future projects, future activity. What's it going to look like?
I think you see a city of a lot of residential in downtown by evidence of the Hain project, the PAC project that's happening now, the Renaissance.
The Performing Arts Center project. You're talking about development right across the street from NJPAC.
Absolutely. I think
housing.
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't it beautiful? A Whole Foods right across the street.
See, people don't appreciate. I live in Montclair, and there's a Whole Foods down the street from where I live. It's like, yeah, there's a Whole Foods, there's a Starbucks. Yeah. You get a Whole Foods in Newark. Tell folks what that means.
It's the whole food effect, right? You have a place where people can eat healthy, and what I like about Whole Foods is that they are a part of and right from the start, they wanted to be a part of the community. They reached out to us, wanted to know what we were doing, who we were, how can they become engaged. So it's not just a business, you know.
Good corporate citizens.
Yeah, absolutely. And we need that. We need good corporations to care about the communities and to help rebuild them.
Before I let you out of here, I've often said that there's something about those of us from Newark, regardless of what part of the city we're from. There's an edge, there's a whatever, I call it, like I said, the Newark comes out. It's not always good, in my case. Why do you love this city?
Oh my gosh.
On a personal level.
Yeah, it's home. It's where I grew up. I love it. I've watched people outside of Newark become seduced by the city. I've always loved Newark, and I've been fortunate enough to come back here and work professionally, but I love it for a multitude of reasons. A transit system, I took my kids back to where I grew up to watch their faces, to look at, well, this is where Dad grew up, so I just love it. It's my city.
It's a great city, Brick City. Anthony McMillan, CEO, Newark Downtown District. Thank you, Anthony.
Thanks for having me.
Keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, the New Jersey Education Association, RWJ Barnabas Health, the Northward Center, the law firm of GIBBONS, P.C., TD Bank, and by Verizon. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
I think at NJIT there are a lot of smart students.
I came to NJIT for mechanical engineering because within state, it's one of probably the top 3 schools for engineering.
It sort of creates a friendly competition where you can learn from them.
It's a great academic school.
I feel I'm being challenged, but at the same time, I love the classes I'm taking.
The atmosphere of being here is like being at an upstart company. It's that same kind of drive, that same kind of passion.